The dishes have been in the sink for 3 days and you know it. The laundry has been sitting in the basket since Tuesday, clean but unfolded, waiting. There is a pile on the chair in your bedroom that has been there so long it has become furniture. You can see all of it. You are not unaware of the mess, and you are not unbothered by it the way people assume you are. You have started cleaning it approximately 11 times in your head this week. You have started cleaning it in reality 0 times. And you cannot fully explain why, which is the part that bothers you most, because from the outside it looks simple. The dishes are there, the cloth is there, the water runs from the tap, the steps are obvious. And still the gap between deciding to do it and actually doing it feels enormous in a way that makes no sense. People around you have a very clear explanation for this. No discipline, no motivation, laziness dressed up as a lifestyle. But the research points somewhere completely different. And understanding it changes how you see yourself in a way that the word lazy never could. Yale University researchers published a study in the Journal of the American Medical Association that changed how scientists understand the relationship between the brain and clutter. They were trying to understand why some people can live surrounded by significant disorder and not feel the urgent need to address it. What they found was not what anyone expected. In people who struggle to keep their spaces clean, a specific brain network that is responsible for deciding what matters and what does not was found to be significantly underactive. Not lazy, not indifferent, underactive. The part of the brain that in most people generates the signal that says this is a problem that needs fixing was simply not producing that signal at the same intensity. Lead researcher David Tolan described it directly. The part of the brain that should be saying this is important is not doing its job. This is the first and most important thing to understand about the chronic inability to clean. It is not that the person does not care. It is that the brain is not generating the urgency signal that would make caring feel actionable. For people whose brains produce that signal strongly, a pile of dishes creates an internal pressure that builds until the dishes get done. For people whose brains produce that signal weakly or inconsistently, the pile sits there visible but not urgent, known about but not compelling, noticed but not prioritized. That is not a moral failure. That is a difference in how the brain processes environmental input and translates it into the motivation to act. Research from Radboud University found that in people with ADHD, 5 of the 7 major command centers of the brain are measurably smaller than in neurotypical brains. Among those 5 are parts of the basal ganglia, which govern habitual actions and the automatic execution of routine behavior. This finding matters enormously for understanding why cleaning is so much harder for some people than it appears from the outside. For most people, cleaning a kitchen is a habit the brain runs largely on automatic. The sequence is established, the initiation happens without significant effort, and the brain does not need to expend much conscious energy to get the task done. For someone with an ADHD brain or any brain with executive function differences, none of that automation exists. Every single time, the brain must consciously initiate the task, plan the sequence, hold the goal in working memory, manage the transition between steps, and sustain attention until the task is complete. That is an enormous difference in cognitive cost for what looks like exactly the same task from the outside. Researchers and clinicians describe this as executive dysfunction, which is the gap between knowing what needs to be done and being able to generate the internal signal that gets the body moving toward doing it. A study of nearly 800 families found that parents overwhelmingly connected their children's difficulty with cleaning directly to this neurological difference rather than to willfulness or opposition. The person is not choosing not to clean. Their brain is not producing the initiation signal that would bridge the gap between intention and action. And every time someone tells them they just need more discipline, they are being offered a solution to a problem they do not have. Here is where the research becomes genuinely surprising and where most conversations about messy people go completely wrong. A study from the University of Minnesota placed participants in either clean ordered rooms or messy disordered rooms and then gave them creative tasks to complete. The people in the messy rooms significantly outperformed those in the clean rooms on tasks requiring creative thinking, novel solutions, and the generation of new ideas. The researchers concluded that disordered environments relax the social norms that constrain conventional thinking and allow the brain to move more freely between unconnected ideas. For certain kinds of minds, the mess is not a failure of the environment. It is the environment working correctly. The visual disorder that bothers other people's brains is the exact sensory context in which some brains produce their best thinking. This does not mean the mess has no cost. It means the relationship between disorder and the brain is significantly more complex than the simple narrative of lazy versus disciplined suggests. Some brains are simply oriented toward the kind of processing that a certain level of environmental chaos facilitates rather than suppresses. And calling that a character flaw is a misreading of what the brain is actually doing. Everyone around the chronically messy person reaches for the same explanation: no discipline, no motivation, laziness dressed up as a lifestyle. But the research points somewhere completely different. The inability to keep a home clean is almost never about caring or not caring. It is almost always about a brain that cannot generate the initiation signal that gets the body moving toward the task. Planning it, starting it, sequencing the steps, holding the goal in mind long enough to finish it. Every single one of those steps requires a cognitive system that in some brains simply does not fire the way it does in others. That is not a character flaw. That is neuroscience. Research consistently shows that the people who struggle most with keeping their homes clean are often the same people expending the most cognitive effort on tasks that others complete automatically. They are not doing less. They are paying a significantly higher price for every step of a process that most people run on autopilot. The mess is not evidence that they do not care about their space. It is evidence that their brain allocates cognitive resources differently from the average. And the first step toward changing any of it is understanding what it actually is, rather than accepting the label that other people have assigned to it. If this is the kind of psychology that makes you feel understood, subscribe to Wired This Way right now. Real neuroscience, plain language, and no empty advice about just being more disciplined. Turn on notifications, and I will see you in the next one.